Hey folks, I'm going to be showing you today how to track a large WAV file in Audacity and split it into smaller tracks. And I'm also going to show you how to verify that the daughter tracks are uncorrupted and consistent with the parent WAV file, so that if you wanted to, you would be able to mash together the three daughter tracks into one file, and bit per bit it would be 100% identical to the parent file that it was derived from, basically to ensure that the tracking goes without any mistakes. Since most of you are going to be doing this in 16-bit CD quality, that's what I'll be working with. I'll be mentioning just very briefly 24-bit because some people like myself like to record concerts in 24-bit, but I'm going to save that for the very end. First, before we do anything, I want to make sure that we are going to be tracking strictly along the sector boundaries. CDs are divided up into 75 data sectors per second, and if your tracking is off by even one sample, it will create what's called a sector boundary error, or SBE, which means when you play it back on a CD, when it goes from one track to the next, you're going to hear this annoying little kind of sound. So you have to make sure that you track exactly on the sector boundaries to avoid sector boundary errors and that annoying sound between tracks. The way you do that is here at the bottom you've got three boxes: selection start, end length, and audio position. Click on any one of these three on the down arrow and make sure that it's set to CD DA frames 75 FPS. Make sure it's set to that. If you set it to that for any one of these three boxes, it'll be set for that for all three of those boxes. Then make sure that snap to, that this box is checked. So that means it's going to snap the cursor wherever you click the cursor on the WAV file. It's going to snap the cursor to the exact frame boundaries to make sure that there aren't any sector boundary errors. Okay, we've got that out of the way. Let's open up our 16-bit CD quality audio file. Go to File, Import, Audio. Go to the location where you've got the file and select. All right, reason I'm showing this in Audacity is because it's really the only decent choice for tracking in Linux. There is a file called Wavebreaker, but it is severely limited. I'm not going to go into its limitations. If you want to download it, check it out for yourself. You'll find out in about 10 minutes what its limitations are. CD Wave, an excellent Windows program, does not work well in Wine, at least not in my experience. That leaves Audacity. One thing that CD Wave and Wavebreaker do that Audacity doesn't is automate the file naming. Audacity doesn't. So if you don't do the file naming yourself, Audacity is going to name the tracks Untitled, Untitled 2, Untitled 3, Untitled 4, and then you've got a massive renaming job ahead of you. I'm going to show you how to get around that as efficiently as possible. Open up any file browser, navigate to where your parent track is located, and then right click on it or hit F2 and click rename. You're not going to rename anything. But you see where the file name's selected, just hit Control C to copy that. Click cancel to get out of it. And then we're going to pretend that I have very meticulously selected the exact places where this file, where I should put the track markers. I'm not going to put you through that. I'm just going to select 4 approximate track markers. First one's here. In order to set a track marker, what in Audacity is called a label, you hit Control B, and now from the clipboard I'm going to hit Control V, paste in the file name, and then type in 02 at the end because that's the second track, and hit return. The reason that we're not starting at the beginning of the file and doing GD 1982 etc. 01 is because if you do that and you save your tracks that way, even if you do it at the very beginning, the audio data, the combined audio data, will not match the audio data of the parent track, and you won't be able to check for any inconsistencies or file corruption. So in order to be able to check that the files have been tracked correctly and uncorrupted, you have to do it this second way. So we've set the first track boundary, and I'm going to set the second. Control B to set the label, Control V, paste in the file name, 03, the end of the file name, and then likewise for the last 2. Alright, so we're going to be saving 5 tracks here. But wait a second, Bill. You've only got 4 labels here. How are you going to save 5 tracks? Okay, this is how we're going to do it. File, Export Multiple, and then right here where it says Labels, click the box that says Include Audio Before First Label. It automatically enters the name of the parent track. You just click the end of it and type in 01. That will save the audio in front of the first label, and it will name it with the parent track with 01 at the end. Okay, make sure the export format is set to WAV Microsoft 16-bit. Make sure you've got the export location set to the proper location. Don't use the choose and then navigate to where you want to go and then click open, because you do that and look where it's going to save everything. It's going to save everything to your home folder, no matter where you tell it to go. So the way you get around that, unfortunately, is you have to go to that folder yourself. Make sure you do not have any files selected. Click in the address bar at the top. Control A to select all. Copy that. Go back to Audacity, export location. You click in the box, Control A to select everything, Control V to paste. And now you've got the export location set. That's where it's going to save the daughter files to. So just to show this in action, I'm going to get rid of everything but the parent wave. All right. Now we're going to click export. And you cannot add track and all this metadata to a WAV file, so I don't know why these stupid windows come up. One comes up for every single track. Just click OK to get rid of them. And now each of the tracked files is saved. All right. Now, you can either go ahead right now and burn these files to a CD for yourself or a friend. They're all set, they're good to go. Or you may want to archive them or save them as FLAC, put them on a hard drive and listen to them through your stereo from your computer. FLAC obviously takes up a whole lot less space. So let's save these to FLAC. We're going to be doing this in Trader's Little Helper, which is a Windows program that runs excellent under Wine. And I'm sorry, folks, but it is much better than the native Linux apps like Sound Converter, because I've never had a FLAC created in Trader's Little Helper play back at half speed on a program, but I have had that happen with FLACs that I've created in Sound Converter. So it is what it is. Deal with it. So I'm going to drag and drop the daughter wave files that have been tracked into Trader's Little Helper. Click Encode Wave Files. Click Encode again. And then wait a few seconds for all of this to get done properly. Okay, and now we're going to test the integrity of these FLAC files. What we are going to test is whether the combined audio data is an exact match for the parent wave file. And if it is, then we know that the files are uncorrupted and the tracking and encoding all went the way it was supposed to. So we drag and drop the FLAC files in Trader's Little Helper. Click Create Checksum File. Make sure it's set to CFP. Click Create. Confirm that the files are in the right order. Give that a few moments. And no errors occurred. All right. Now, open up gedit. Drag and drop the CFP file in there. Instead of all these references to the FLAC files that this fingerprint was generated from, we're going to get rid of those references. We're going to edit them out and replace it with a reference to the parent wave file, because that's what we want to check this fingerprint against. We've got the fingerprint generated from the FLAC files. Now we want to compare that fingerprint to the original wave file. So we've made that change. We've edited it. We've saved it. Let's close gedit. Drop the CFP file into Trader's Little Helper. Click Verify. And everything verifies okay. And that is how you track a wave file in Audacity. Now, if like me, you record at 24-bit at a live concert, but friends of yours want CD copies, then you got to go through the whole thing of making a conversion to CD quality. I'm not going to go through the best programs and methods to do that, because that's a completely different subject. Let's assume you've done that. Let's assume that this is a 24-bit file. Let's just assume that. And I want to save these track markers so that I can import them to the converted other file, so I don't have to do all the tracking over again. It's very simple. Click File, Export Labels, select the location where you want to save the exported labels to, and then you can accept the default labels.txt or change the name to "this is what I want to change the name to" .txt, for all anyone cares, and then save it. All right, we can close out of this. And then when we import our new file, the converted version, instead of having to do the tracking all over again, we just click File, Import, Labels, go to where you saved the labels, select them, select the labels.txt, click Open or double click on labels.txt, and there you have your track markings in the exact same place. And you're ready to go. You just do the exact same thing with export. Make sure you've got the format set correctly and the file location set correctly, because those are likely to be different. But everything else is going to be exactly the same. I hope I haven't taken too long explaining this or taxed your patience too much. And I hope this has proven useful to you. Happy taping, happy trading, happy tracking, happy listening, and have a great day. Feel free to leave comments or questions in the comments section, and I will take a look at them and answer any questions as need be. Enjoy.